Hi. Hi. Happy Sunday. Did you go to church today? Did you get your church on? Did you? No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, so I'm just gonna give you my update for today. I didn't do any reading today, but I did do some writing. Like I said, guys, I'm a whole ass attorney now, kind of. So yeah, gotta file motions like every fucking day, and it's exhausting. I'm exhausted. It will pay off. Um, but yeah, I'm tired. I broke a nail. Made some money. Made a smoothie. Got some candy. I have these like watermelon, um, Gillian sour, candies. Also, now laters. I don't know why. I guess they're in season because it's like holiday season. I hadn't seen now laters for a minute. When I was a kid, I would eat now laters all the time growing up, like a mad person. So to see them was it was really nice. Anyway, so something that happened that I read that I thought was interesting. Um, First, Dave Chappelle. Uh, he's been on tour. If you didn't know, he was actually in my town, and I was gonna. He was in Nashville. I was gonna go see him, but I think I was working that night. Anyway, so he was in Boston. I guess this was like 2 days, 2 nights ago. And as if you didn't know this, during Dave Chappelle's shows, he requires everyone to like put their phones away, so there's no video or audio recording allowed. But during the show, I guess he made a statement about like, he condemned what Hamas did. So he basically made a statement on Israel and Palestine, and he showcased his support for Palestinians and said, he feels for what's happening with them. I guess he also, like, so someone in the crowd heard him saying that and they were like, fuck you, shut the fuck up. And then he responds to them. He's like, no, you shut the fuck up. And then he goes on like a 15-minute rant where he starts talking about what's going on in Palestine and Israel and his thoughts about it. Now, this is not the first time that, Dave Chappelle has been the person to get political about stuff. And I feel like I want to give some context here because this is not the first time I've covered Dave Chappelle. I've also made, like, to me, Dave Chappelle came on my radar as a human in the world who I'm interested in when he went to Africa for the first time. He made a statement where he was basically condemning Holly Weird for making black men dress up in dresses. He was like, why is it that every time black men are doing anything in the world on television, they are forcing them to wear these dresses and emasculating them and then promoting that using propaganda to the rest of American society? And everyone else on planet Earth was watching this and being like, oh, I guess all black men are gay. That was the imagery. And as you see, like, I do feel like an entire generation of black men were probably socialized to behave this way, i.e., Medea and all of the other cross dressers for like all of these like ideas didn't just like pop up out of the air. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that gay people didn't exist or anything, but on the magnitude that it is now and in the way that it is now is like there are some black men who have contributed to, I'm not going to say it's like emotional destabilization, but I will say it's more of like an unorthodox way of living, and they have contributed to the maybe like countercultural society that we have now, which I don't actually know if I would say it's like an awful thing, because I do think that we definitely needed something that was different than what we had previously, because what we had previously was awful as well. But I don't know if I would say that this is that much better. It's different. I am personally not comfortable with it, but hey, this is not the country that's trying to make space for me to be comfortable. So it's not like it fucking matters. This chair, very comfortable. Anyway, so yes, still a supporter of Dave Chappelle. Gotta say, a lot of my politics align with his, including his politics on poverty. So I'll put some of my other Dave Chappelle exploration videos in the comments, so you can just I every time he does something that I think is worth covering, I cover it. So there it was. All right, moving on. I also saw that Tyla's going to be on Jimmy Kimmel. Really excited. We'll talk about how that performance went tomorrow night. I think that what Tyla is doing is great. I really appreciate it. I think that her content and who she is as an artist is wonderful, and I just want to like give space for it. So, yes. Um go Tyla, I'm supporting. Great. Um Oh, and I also saw a pretty cool video by, is it, what is his name, Johnny something? He makes these like he makes Vox style news reporting videos, and he covered this like social genocide thing. Now this is weird, and I don't know why. I thought this would like leave me in a way, but it hasn't. So there was basically a time when like Facebook was being sued because of, there was a lot of like data privacy, like metadata stuff that was happening in the third world. And it just so happens that when I was with the company, I was on that team. So like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like Mark Zuckerberg, he was like on trial in court because he was being tried for all the shit that was happening at Facebook. And like, I was on that team at that time. So it's just so interesting that so many people find that point in time interesting, because I gotta say, it wasn't until I left that team that I understood kind of the significance of that team. I feel like for me personally, being on that team taught me a lot more just about, I was just way more interested in Africa, I got to be honest. So I just basically spent all my time trying to understand as much as I could, talk to as many African people as I could, like understand their stories, understand like their cities, understand the policies, understand development, and that is what I use that time and those resources are. And having access to, I mean, it's incredible the stuff you can see on a data team. As like a data engineer with Facebook data, you can see everything. You can see likes, comments, posts. You can analyze posts. You can chat with people. I mean, you can see a lot. Um, and it's not really like I mean, definitely nobody no employees like use that information for like stalking people and trying to like find information about people, but it's more like understanding trends. So if you really do have a question about like social engagement, not like you as like a user, right? I'm just saying like if you're on a data team and you're trying to answer a question or try to find a pattern, right? And evidence to support that pattern, there are really interesting ways that you can use the data to do that. And they have a data engineering blog where you could read about that. The social scientists actually post a lot. So if that's something that you're interested in, you should read their blog. There are really smart people working there. Those are really interesting questions to ask. I thought that it was just super fascinating to see so many people now covering that, because yes, it was an example of basically how um social media can be used to trigger people and emotionally entice people to get like all riled up about an issue. Um, I feel like some people are getting all riled up about Israel and Palestine. And there are some of us who have just kind of been like, I don't care. And to be honest, I still kind of feel like that. Like I still don't care. But I think this one Dave Chappelle quote kind of summarizes maybe like my opinion about it. And I'll just actually read it out to you because I just like screenshotted it. Here's what he said. He said, "You don't take tens of billions from my country to go kill innocent women and children and come tell me to shut the fuck up." He said, "Don't come begging for money from my country and then go drop bombs on children and cut off innocent people's water and electricity. You have the audacity to come see me and then tell me to shut the fuck up." Exactly. It would be way different if Israel was raising money, okay, to do shit that Israel wants to do with its own money, but that is not what is happening. And I think a lot of you don't understand how like taxes work. So many things have to do with birth and abortion. It's like it's a cycle. America is a developed nation because of a cycle, and replacement rates and birth rates matter so much. You need people at every single step of the system, or else the system breaks. Like, as much as I hate being here, I have a place in the system. And when I don't get married, when I don't have children, when I don't, like, go work in corporate America, when I don't, like, when I leave the country, like, my spot is not, like, it's not being replaced, but like, I, the country needs my number, in a sense, to like, because my tax dollars are like used to go into the pot of money that is being used to do other shit in the world that keeps American imperialism going. So when American imperialism, when that budget goes down, which it is actually sinking, because there aren't enough people to continue to contribute to it. Some of you guys think that that doesn't matter, but like, people doing those menial jobs, those like low income jobs that are keeping all of the shit running, um that matters, because the tax dollars from that go to fund everything. $3.6 billion is a lot of money, and that's how much of our collective Americans' money, when we go to work every day and you see your check and you're like 13% of it or whatever percent is gone, it's going into this, think of it as like this bucket of tax, right? And that's used to fund American infrastructure. That's schools, that's roads, electricity, public policy, foreign policy, all of the shit, including the foreign policy bucket would be money that's going to Israel. Or maybe if you read about like the World Food Organization and you're like, oh, I want food to go to Ethiopia because I want to help the starving people, some of that money goes there. It's not $3.6 billion though. That's going to Israel right now to bomb Palestine. That's why Americans get to have a say. Americans have a right to have a say. For sure. Like, it definitely, if you are Jewish or Israeli right now, in Israel specifically, you know, and you're being paid your ability to bomb and kill someone else is being paid for by like me, who literally does not want that to happen. I get to say something about it. That's why Americans should care. But this is also why I think some shit is just kind of really funny, because like right now there are so many humanitarian crises to care about. You could care about world hunger and talk about famine in East Africa. You could care about war crimes and talk about Russia, Ukraine, Palestine, or Israel. Any of those things would be like, wow, you care about humanity, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. Like, I saw, I don't know why a lot of like P Diddy's content keeps coming up in my algorithm, which kind of disturbs me a lot. Or things that like Drake is doing, which I think I honestly think that Drake it's gotten to be like beyond problematic at this point. Like, I feel like the imagery that he's turning to using is like, first of all, it's making like caricatures of certain things that are emblematic to Black female culture. Like all of the things with the hairpins and stuff. I don't know why Black men are determined to become Black women. It's giving Medea, and it's just giving strange. Like, I don't know. Leave counterculture alone, is what I would say. Just, it's so weird. It's so weird, but whatever. Um And I mean, I really think it's important for just regular Black women to occupy space and continue to think about the necessities of life, like food, water, apartment, education. just if you keep that going, I feel like a really good strategy of life. And I was actually saying this to Melissa today, she told me I was really funny, and I don't think she believed me, but I was like, life is like a Ferris wheel, because it just keeps going like around and around and around. Life's like a merry-go-round. You just like, you kind of know what's coming, and it just keeps going around and around and around. Because when you think about like whatever your schedule was in high school, right? Like as you go through all of like primary school, through secondary school, through high school, through, early college, maybe to one grad program to another grad program, into professional life, then maybe into teaching and retirement, all of those steps, it's like more, it's like like when you're in primary and elementary school, all the financial responsibility to take care of you is someone else's, but they're gradually like weaning you off the tit, so they're getting you like closer and closer to being able to take care of yourself. So like, you're slowly learning how to wash your own clothes, how to take the bus by yourself, how to get up on time, how to complete assignments, how to take on responsibility. Then you get to college, and now you really start to do that on your own. Like, you're away from your parents and you're doing that. And then you get your first like apartment, and now like you're really really doing it on your own. You don't have roommates anymore, like you're managing all the bills for yourself. Like, your employers actually expect shit from you for real. Like, you have to contribute to the business. Like, the business has needs, and you have to keep that going because capitalism. And then, you might switch careers or something. You might move to a different city. You might enter a relationship, and then like that relationship has standards. And I think something else that I think is interesting. I feel like in the Black community, one thing that we're seeing that I haven't seen direct words for, but it is a reality, we're moving from Black women relying on the government for financial assistance for motherhood to Black women relying on capitalism just to be citizens in society. Now, the thing about being a citizen in society is it's an opportunity that's available for all citizens. This is why we have to have conversations about like undocumented aliens and like other people in other parts of the world who are not citizens, because you can like be a foreign national and then like literally get a visa and then become a citizen. Like, there's pathways to citizenship legally that you can take to gain the rights and access of citizenship. But if anyone can just break the law and come, then citizenship no longer has like a meaning. Like, we don't need taxes or anything anymore, because like everyone is just like coming and going. So then it's like, this is meaningless. This is where, if this is the point, this is why I feel like it's really important to now actually have racial identity borders, so that we realize like where the Black people belong. It's just easier. Like, you look at the Black person and you're like, oh, okay, I got it. The Black people go to Africa, and it makes sense. Anyway, I also just want to continue to say that I understand that like there's like an overwhelming number of poor Black people in the universe, but like all the Black people that you see online who are making content about anything have quite a lot of fucking access, privilege, and education. If they're able to get online and just share a thought with you about something that they're going through, it puts them like light years ahead of other people who are unable to do that for whatever reason. Maybe they don't have the internet, maybe they don't have a phone, maybe they just don't have the cognitive ability to put thoughts together. Like, all of those things are very real. And another thing I've realized about like Black Americans in American society right now is a lot of people are literally like washing away their sorrows, thoughts, fears, and feelings with drugs and alcohol. So instead of like talking through their feelings, talking about their personal experiences, they're just drinking them away. I also saw something that I just want to point to. So I was watching a video by this girl last night who was breaking down this other girl who seems to be having a literal breakdown. So break, right? There's a whole bunch of breaks there. But it was interesting to hear her talk. She was analyzing another person's mental health, and she was saying, oh, she couldn't look in the camera. So because she can't look in the camera, that's why I know I'm not going to trust her. Well, I will say this to people who think like that. You personally don't know everyone in the world. You personally do not have experience with all personality types, most people. You simply have experience with like yourself and your very small group of people. So the way that someone is choosing to like express themselves on camera is just like a camera angle. When a lot of people are coming on here like making content, they're doing it in this way where like they are getting you to see one portion of themselves that they have chosen to like amplify and make look good so that you believe that they are whoever they want you to believe they are, just for the camera. So they script things, they practice it over and over and over. Other people like me, I'm not scripting anything. I'm literally just coming off the whim every night and explaining to you how I feel. It's conversational talk. These are not scripts. If you talk to people in real life, nobody's like talking to you every single second and being like, look into my soul. Like nobody's saying that. Like nobody, come on, be serious. I understand that it's like a useful tactic if you're like a news anchor or something to be like fucking the camera, right? But like that's also not everyone who's making videos for TikTok and YouTube doesn't need to be that person. That's real. So I think that girl is strange. I also think she's very sheltered in terms of like her lived experience. And it was just kind of bullshit to like actually hear that, and just to know I thought it was insane the way that people in this country talk about mental health. Because like I feel like I've heard it from both sides at this point. I've heard people talk about, well, Israeli ministers now believe that the mental health of Jewish people in America is degrading. And I feel like 3 years ago we were talking about how everyone with mental health problems should be segregated into an isolated bucket. Remember, as we watched Black Americans go through mental health problems, everyone was just locked away in institutions. Remember, they locked away Malcolm X's mother when she was going through all those social issues. They were like, fuck that bitch. They threw her in a mental institution, took all her shit, ruined her entire life, and they were like, yeah, fuck that bitch. That's what they did to all the Black Americans, right? No Black Americans ever got any therapy, but now they're like, Jewish people need therapy. Oh my god. Then they're like, oh, the Palestinian people, what are they gonna do? Their mental health is gonna fuck that. Nobody cares about anybody's mental health. Really, nobody really gives a shit about anybody else. We're just all pretending so that like as violence starts to incur, I guess we become a little bit more empathetic. Like, well, someone made a tweet for me in 2012. Therefore, I hope they don't get bombed away because they're like a Jew and I'm a Muslim or something. It all kind of seems bullshit. So that's been my rant for tonight. I feel like if you want to maybe listen to some other thoughts, if you're Black and you're listening to this channel, I hope this was informative. But I gotta say, like, there are quite a lot of other people who have lots of other content to make. Hopefully this has inspired you. Maybe some of the other links that I posted. I've got thousands of videos on this channel, so go watch some of my others. I'll put some of my other playlists in the description box just so you have it. It's been real. I'm going to probably do some reading, just do anything else, but I wanted to pop in and say what's up.